Hello, good morning, and welcome to another Out of Spec Bits episode. Maybe reviews, maybe bits. Sometimes you never know where stuff will end up. Anyway, if you've watched a previous video on the Out of Spec Reviews YouTube channel, you will know we have just taken delivery of our very own mobile DC fast charger. This is a dream come true. It's so exciting. This is the Charge Rigs Flex 120. Has 120 kilowatt hours worth of LFP cells up here, and then 2 DC charging ports in the rear that I can charge, again, 120 kilowatts in and out, with 120 kilowatt hours of storage. Pretty easy to remember those numbers. Well, I've used it a few times. I've charged up a bunch of cars with it, and today it's time to charge it up. And I'm running to go DC fast charge this unit for a multitude of reasons. So join me as I drive a diesel truck to go DC fast charge my trailer over at the EVgo Pilot Flying J station right near the track. Well, guys, my Rivian is still out in Colorado, so I've got to use my Ford to tow this trailer. I would love to bring the electric truck towing the electric trailer. This thing weighs about 6,500 pounds, so it's kind of a first tow and first charge. I'm really curious to see how it feels behind the Ford. Now, it might look like it's angled down a little bit, and if anything, I should probably put the adjustable hitch one notch up, and I would get it dialed in if I'm going really far. I'm only going a few miles down the road, but you can see here the tongue weight on this. This is the WaySafe hitch. Shout out to WaySafe for sending us this, by the way. Love those guys. It only has, 250 pounds of tongue weight on this thing, and that's with it angled down a little bit. So it's a really nicely balanced trailer, but I might want to end up putting a few heavy things in that box just to get a bit more tongue weight on it. We'll see how it tows and how it performs over time. So I've charged the trailer, I should say I've charged cars off the trailer, and I have it down to just over 10% state of charge. And you can see here with these charging ports on the rear, it can AC charge and DC charge. So I'm not sure of the onboard charge capacity. Our buddy Paul said he thinks it's an 80 amp onboard charger. However, I think it might only be a 7 kilowatt onboard charger. We'll have to play around with that. The reason I'm not AC charging it is I actually can't get it to AC charge regardless. Inside of this panel is the, or actually I should say inside of this panel is the charge controller and the AC charging box. But for some reason, I just cannot get it to accept a charge. Paul thinks there's some bug or something in the software, pretty simple, that may not be configured right. So he's going to remote log into this thing to dial it in, which I think is great that they can remote log in. But Paul thinks it should be able to DC fast charge because that's how he primarily charges with these trailers. So we don't have any DC charging installed at the track yet. We're working on it. Dominion Energy came today to talk about doing site upgrades of all of our transformers to put DC charging in. So that's happening. This is a great stopgap. We're definitely going to get it AC charging at some point. We need this to be able to AC charge overnight so we can always have this thing topped up for DC fast charging our electric cars. But for now, it only seems to DC charge. So yeah, let's go tow with it up to the EVgo Pilot Flying J. It's a few exits up I-95. We're right off I-95 in northern North Carolina. We're going to head up to Virginia, actually. And we've got the trailer all set up. It's a really nice trailer, really nice charger. It's been charging cars great. Really no issues with the trailer at all, or I should say the charger at all, except for the fact it won't AC charge at the moment. So that's really the main bug with it. It's a new product. We're helping them get dialed in. I think that's, as long as they can fix it, should be totally fine. So let's jump in the Super Duty and head up to Virginia to go charge our Charge Rigs Flex 120. We are heading out of the track. We've got 19 miles, 19 minutes. Let's head over there. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much. I've just started to. I've got the sunroof open. It's so nice out right now, 72 degrees, and we're finally out of that major heat wave. So let's rock and roll as we make our way over to the Emporia Pilot Flying J. We have arrived, and I guess I put in the wrong pilot in the nav. It wasn't 19 minutes away. It was like 2 exits up. It was like 5 minutes away, which is what I was thinking. So here we are. And I backed up the trailer pretty far, so I wasn't holding it. Yeah, got it real tight there, but I had it in the mirror. Nothing to worry about. e-tron charging up over here to the left. I've got to power up this trailer, so let's do that. And while this is charging, because I think it's going to take 45 minutes or so, I've got to fill up the truck with fuel, and I might go over to Bojangles, get some lunch. But comment below, do you think it's weird to be public charging a battery pack? Like if you rolled up to a car charging station, would you be offended to see one of these things here? Don't know. I don't know how these were off and this was on. Maybe someone flipped that by accident while I was gone. Anyway, I've got to wait for these two to stop blinking. Takes like 45 seconds to 1 minute. Then I can fire this one up, and then we should be able just to DC charge it, and hopefully it will work. It's going to be quite expensive charging it here because these Pilot Flying J sites are not cheap. Let's see what we got going on for pricing. 52 cents per kilowatt hour. Actually, not terrible. That's one of the lower, I mean, still not great, but that's one of the lower prices I've seen at a Pilot Flying J location. So we'll wait for stack 1 and stack 2 pre-charge to blink solid, and then we'll fire it up with this switch right there. Oh, there we are. I think we are solid. Yep. Time to fire it up. So we'll close that up for the time being. I heard from Paul that it should hold 120 kilowatts all the way to 80%, which will be kind of interesting. So once this is good, then I'll plug it in, tap my card, and charge. And hopefully that's all we need to do. Gotta fire up the Android tablet. I'll be back with you in a second. All right, well, we're all fired up. 16% state of charge. We're gonna juice this thing up so I can charge some of my friends. Oh, we've got the cover off of this handle right here, which typically doesn't really do anything too bad. So let's insert that into the charge port. This is so weird to be plugging in a trailer. I guess we'll see if the charger even knows we've plugged into anything. Let's see. I don't think we have to do anything wise. Yeah, it says tap your card in use. All right, let me do it. All right, here we go. Payment approved, machine processing. Thank you. Payment has been authorized. I'm really curious to see if the trailer says anything. It says out of spec studios, tap screen to continue. I don't see anything on here to indicate that we're charging. Okay. Let's see if it will. Oh, I heard contactors clicking. It says communicating, checking cable safety. So it's doing sort of its isolation checks. Or insulation, isolation, insulation. What's the difference? Should do a video on that. Matching voltage. Okay. And we're charging. It knows we're at 16%. No way. And if I go here to, wait, not that one. If I go to session details, 558 volts. Already doing 200 amps. So it's limited 200 amps on the charging cable and the input output of the battery as well. So it's a 200 amp unit right here. Oh, here we go. It's now recharging its batteries. How about that? Oh, cool. We are charging. That is freaking epic. So while this is going, I'm definitely going to do a full 0 to 100 charge log on this at some point here pretty soon. Can you do anything while it's charging? No. I'm definitely going to do a full 0 to 100 charge test on it at some point, but I did just want to make sure I knew how the process went and worked. And yeah, it's just ripping 200 amps, and I guess it'll hold 200 amps until we get up to 80%. And yes, I had heard this may have been higher voltage. Perhaps the larger battery systems are, but this is like a 500, 600, 700 volt system, probably 600 something at 100%. I guess we'll find out. I don't know how high we'll charge it, but probably 90 or 100. But yeah, I guess we'll leave it here. I'll unhook the truck, and I got to fill this thing up with diesel. What I really should make sure I don't do is pull away with it connected to the charger, because there's no interlock here. And that's, oh boy, that could be really something special for sure. It would be quite the sight to see. Make sure the cameras are on when you pull away under full load. All right, let me get the wheel chocks out so this thing doesn't go rolling away, and we'll let her juice up. This is awesome. So while that one's fueling over there, this one's fueling over here. Much quicker, I gotta say. This one feels a little bit quicker. But it probably will. This is a slow pump. This ain't one of those high power diesel pumps. It's not a supercharger. It's just a level 2. Let's go over and check on the trailer and see how well it's doing. I was surprised the e-tron's still here. We must not have beat them. Those things top charge unbelievably fast and just get right up to 100%. But they just bought it, so maybe they are doing 100% charge. I can see it's got a temp tag on there. Let's see how the trailer's holding up. Man, it's already at 50%, still sitting flat out. 51%, 200 amps, 114 kilowatts. Can't hear a fan. Yeah, the AC unit's on, so it is doing thermal management, but it's really quiet. Unbelievably quiet. And even here, 114 kilowatts, because it's relatively high voltage, or I should say 200 amps at relatively high voltage, gives us 114 kilowatts. It's not bad. It's also not a huge battery in this thing. It's more of an emergency charging trailer. But Charge Rigs does sell a 200 and 300 kilowatt hour version if you need more capacity. Well, I ended up just going in and getting a little Subway sandwich. Thought it was a little healthier than doing the Bojangles. But let's see what we're charged up to. Holy smokes, we're done. No way. It's still doing 114 kilowatts at 99%. Are you kidding me? There's also no way we're at 99% if we only added or delivered 62 kilowatt hours. So there's definitely a bug. Okay, this is a weird bug for sure. So we've been charging 33 minutes, 62 kilowatt hours delivered. It should be around 60% state of charge, not 99, right? You guys with me on this? So it could be just communicating weird. This doesn't indicate anything. But, hey, we'll just let it charge up. I mean, I'm going to give it probably another 30 minutes. I'll blast through some work in the truck. But we're probably... Yeah, I mean, the voltage hasn't changed much. That's just because it's LFP. But it's still ripping full power. So we're going to let it go. If the fireballs happen, if explosions go, well, so be it. But I don't think it's at 99% if we've only delivered 64 kilowatt hours. Oh, we are about 20 minutes later into the session, and I can feel some heat coming out over here. The AC is definitely kicking on, and it is extinguishing some really good temps. Still ripping 200 amps. We've delivered 101 kilowatt hours. So we've got to be getting close to roughly 100% now, even though the state of charge estimate still indicates 99. So I've got to talk to Paul about this communication metric, because I would love to know, you know, sort of real SOC, unless it was really just the BMS had that much sway, but I doubt it. The voltage is actually staying flatter than I expected, even with LFP, but that's a really flat discharge curve. And I'm going to go ahead and get the truck hooked back up while it's a pretty empty parking lot right now. So time to get this thing hooked up, and then yeah, maybe by then we'll be good to go. Well, I just saw the flex charge go from blue while charging to a bunch of green lights on there. So I'm assuming we are at 100%. And it really didn't seem like it tapered up top much at all. So it dispensed 120 kilowatt hours, cost me 62 bucks. The AC fan is still going hardcore over here. So what I'm going to do is actually leave it on while I drive it back to the track, you know, a couple exits down the road. Paul said it's totally fine to drive it with it on in standby mode, and that will also give it a chance to cool down a bit. We've got to make sure we unplug, of course. Everything looks nice and cool to the touch. Let's put this back in here. Dang, that was pretty awesome. So the mobile, there we go. The mobile charger did the thing. That's pretty cool to the touch as well. I just wish it had more than a 200 amp limit. Like, imagine this thing taking 500 amps in and really ripping. That would be sick. So, all right. I mean, definitely some wishes would be, if you're buying one, maybe go for the bigger capacity. The 120 is perfect for us, but having some more would be pretty nice. And I'd love to see more than 200 amps in and out. But man, as a solution goes, this thing looks robust. It tows great. I didn't even talk about that. I'll talk about when we get back to the track. But towing with this is awesome. All right, let's go back to the track, start this thing up, and I'll see y'all back over there. Go rip it to the old track. And here we are back over at the track. 100% state of charge. Resting up. Very good. They're going to remote log into it right now to try to get the AC charging to work, so I'm looking forward to that. I've got it all unhooked from the truck, and I think that was a successful first charge of the Charge Rigs Flex 120. Man, the amount of things that we're able to do now that we have this trailer is unbelievable. Still have some fans going in it. I'm going to let it run. Let's see, this is all shut off, so this all cooled down. The big AC unit, the chiller is no longer running, but seems to be fine. So I'm going to let them log in, fix it, and then we'll see if we can get it AC charging after a little while. But I think that's a video, guys. That was super fun. Glad you were able to join me on a little hour-and-a-half adventure. I really enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. See you in another one again soon. Bye-bye.